yesterday. But mashallah, I came to a message that was so impressed. The way it was organized. Mashallah, you have everything that a masjid needs. Mashallah, you get having the Shaykh, may Allah reward him. Me and him, we work together. He sent some people to me in Nashville. Jazakallah khair for inviting me. Jazakallah khair for inviting me. Tonight, inshallah, I've been given not enough time to speak about all of Ramadan. But I will try my best, inshallah, to make it short and brief. This subject of Ramadan, I take it in different sessions. Actually, there is a class that I taught almost 1 week speaking about Ramadan. So before we start Ramadan, the ahkam, the rulings and regulations, inshallah, I'm going to speak about the benefits of Ramadan. It's not going to benefit you that I tell you rulings and regulations if you don't know what's the benefit, what's the special with Ramadan. We just say that Ramadan is Ramadan, or there's some special things in Ramadan. As we know that our life goes fast. Last Ramadan was like yesterday. The next month is going to be like it was yesterday. So we need to take a side note from this, that our life is moving so fast. There's going to come a time where you're going to be underground. It's going to come a day where you're going to be dead. So this is lesson for us that Ramadan is coming fast and Ramadan is leaving fast. Allah says, إِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهُمْ لَا يَسْتَأْخِرُونَ سَاعَةً وَلَا يَسْتَقْدِمُونَ. When your time comes, you're not going to be delayed an hour. Forget about an hour, even you're not going to be allowed to delay 1 second. You can say, oh Allah, give me 1 minute so I can complete some other stuff that I have in this life. When your time comes, you are done. You're going to be done. And Allah will ask you what you have done in this short life that Allah gave you. This life is just about test. It's not about enjoyment. It's about Allah sees you. How are you going to do with this life? The real life is the life hereafter. That's called eternity life. You're going to live forever. Either you're going to live in a Jannah as wide as heavens, and you're going to be at enjoyment in Jannah, or you're going to be living in torture, punishment, hellfire forever. You know, forever compared to million. Those who know math, infinity, if you compare to it 1 million, still it's going to be zero. Because infinity is much, much greater than 1 million, 1 billion. It's forever. It's forever a life that you're going to be living forever. So it's like infinity. So the infinity life is the one here after. And that's what we need to focus on it. And Ramadan is a special month that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. The people before us, the rightly guided people, the good people before us, they used to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for 6 months before Ramadan to allow them Allah to reach them Ramadan. When they reach Ramadan and they complete Ramadan, another 6 months they used to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be accepted from them the Ramadan. Because once you're accepted by Allah once, you're accepted forever. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala freed you one time from the fire, but you don't know when, that's why you need to keep trying. You don't say, I did good in last Ramadan. You may never know that Allah had accepted or not. So you need to keep trying. And Prophet ﷺ in hadith, he used to say in his dua, Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab wa Sha'ban. Prophet ﷺ said, oh Allah, bless us in Rajab and Sha'ban. 2 months before Ramadan, he used to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless him in Ramadan. That means he used to prepare for himself in Ramadan, and he used to ask Allah to allow him to reach Ramadan. Because Ramadan was a special month that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given us. Know that the people before us, like Qawm Nuh, Allah says, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ فَلَبِثَ فِيهِمْ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ إِلَّا 50 عَامًا. Nuh stayed with his people for 1,000 years. Stayed with his people for 1,000 years. Preaching to them, telling about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, telling them worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, and he will succeed. But they refused. So he was preaching 950 years. 950 years he was preaching. That means he lived more than 1,000 years. So I'm going to say. So if we say that the people before us used to live long lives, that means they used to have longer opportunity. They could do a lot of khayr more than us. And Allah had given us between 70 and 80. Prophet said, أعمار أمتي ما بين 60 و 70. Prophet said, my ummah will live between 60. Their life will be between 60 and 80, and 60 and 70. So that's if you look at it, it's going to look like not fair. That's true, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us special occasions. If you take advantage of those, you will benefit. For example, in Ramadan only. If you fast Ramadan, 1 month of Ramadan, if you fast and you get the last 10 and night called Laylatul Qadr, the night of power, is like he stood up for Allah 83 years worshipping Allah. So you get, imagine yourself, you get Laylatul Qadr for 10 years of your life. Just 10 years of your life. 10 times. That's how much? 83 times 10, 830 years. So you get 20 is going to be more than the people before you. So Allah gave a special occasion so that we can take advantage of it. And so Allah gave us special places. Like, and if you go to Al-Haram, Al-Makki, if you pray in the masjid of Mecca, one salah equals to 100,000 salah in this masjid, in any other masjid. That means one prayer equals to 52 years of prayers. Imagine yourself, you go to Hajj, just pray one rak'ah of Dhuhr, is as you prayed 52 years of salah. So Allah is giving us here and here. Although if He gave us a short life, but He blessed that short life so that we can take advantage of it and we can work hard so that we can be or reach or pass these people before us. The job is too long, I'm not going to go. Prophet he said in Hadith, إذا كانت أول ليلة من رمضان فتحت أبواب الجنة. The first night of Jannah, the gates of Jannah will open, and He will not be closed until the end of the Ramadan. And when the first day of Ramadan, Allah will close and shut down the gates of hellfire, and He will not be open until the end of the Ramadan finished. And the shayateen will be locked up. That's why we feel more spirituality during the Ramadan. And a caller will call and he say, whoever wants to do khayr, ya baghi ash-sharri aqbil. Whoever wants to do some good, this is the month of Ramadan. Take advantage of it. Do something. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala multiplies the good deeds normally 10 times. And it can be reached until 700 times. But in Ramadan, Allah only knows how much is going to multiply. Multiply. Allah will multiply on this occasion. Prophet ﷺ said in Hadith, كل عمل ابن آدم له الحشر بأمثال ذلك. Every good deed that the son of Adam does, he gets 10 times, and he may reach 700 times. But Allah says, as-sawm, illa as-sawm. But sawm does not apply that rule. Allah says, as-sawmu li wa ana ajzi bi. Sawm is me, it belongs to me, and I shall reward you. So, what do you think about Allah? If I say I'm going to take care of you, good reward, you expect good from me. What about Allah al-Kareem, the generous one? How much you expect from it? If He says that I will give you, Allah is Jawab. If He says I will give you, He will give you what meant I will give you. Something beyond your imagination, He will multiply to you. And there is a gate in Jannah, it's called Ar-Rayyan. No one will enter from that gate except those who are fasting. Those who fast for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those are the only ones who will enter that gate on their fire. I'm going to tell you one story that happened at the time of Prophet ﷺ. This hadith is Ibn Majah, and ulama consider hadith sahih, including Al-Albani. And you know, Al-Albani has a lot of strict rules. What do you say in this hadith sahih? Although there's some debate on it. But generally his rules are very strict. This hadith is hadith sahih. And there was two men who were from the same tribe. They accepted Islam. One was better than the other one in the ibadah. He was doing a lot of effort worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more than the other one. The one who was good also died in a battle for the sake of Allah. He was shaheed. He died for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says, وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ قُتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتًا. Do not think those who was killed for the sake of Allah, they're just dead. Allah is going to take care of them. So that person died in jihad. His friend died 1 year after him. He did not die in a battle. He just died normally. So Talha ibn Ubaydullah, one of the 10, those Allah Prophet gave them the Tariq Jannah, he have seen a dream that they were in the gate of Jannah, Talha and the two men, both of them dead. So a person came out from Jannah and let the person who died lastly into the Jannah first. And then he came back again, he led the second one, which is the first one who died and was doing good deeds, and the other one, the one who died in jihad, into the Jannah after him. So Talha told his companions what he had seen. The companion was so surprised. Why? Because the one who died first, he used to do ibadah, wasn't the other one. Plus he died shaheed as a martyr for the sake of Allah. But he entered the Jannah before the other guy. So when they were so surprised, they came to Allah, they said, we're so surprised that what Talha had seen. So he said, why are you so surprised? He said, then the second guy, the one who died reach Ramadan after it? Did he leave one Ramadan after him? They said, yes, he lived one Ramadan, but the other one was good. Allah said, did he stood up at night for prayers, qiyam? Did he fasted during the day of Ramadan? Allah said, between them it's as heavens and earth, because he reached one Ramadan after him. So you reach one Ramadan, that means opportunity. That means more good deeds. That means you can go as far as you can see into khayrat. We need to take advantage of it, and we need to work hard so that we can be among these who are accepted. What about the people who will not accept Ramadan? Prophet one time he stood up in his member, like that platform. He went to the first one, he said Ameen. Then he went to the second one, he said Ameen. Then he went to the third one, he said Ameen. Ameen means oh Allah accept. Then the Sahaba, they were so surprised and they asked him, what happened? I will mention the part that concerns about Ramadan. He said, Jibreel came to me and he was making dua. Jibreel was making dua and he said, رَغِمَ أَنْفُهُ رَغِمَ أَنْفُهُ رَغِمَ أَنْفُهُ. He lost. Indeed he lost. Indeed he lost. Oh, may Allah make him lose. Then he said, Jibreel, مَنْ أَدْرَكَ رَمَضَانَ وَلَمْ يُغْفَرْ لَهُ. Whoever reached Ramadan, this blessed month, reached that month and he is not forgiven. You reach Ramadan, you're not forgiven, you lose. And the Prophet was making Ameen, oh Allah, make him lose. Take him too far because he did not take advantage of what Allah had given him. This Ramadan. Ramadan is not for just food or drink. Sisters, they spend all day cooking and, or doing some other things. The month of Ramadan is the month of ibadah. It's not the shahru ta'am. It's not sense of sambusa. I think it's good to eat good. But this month is special for ibadah. You need to put your efforts to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to do your best. And you have to abstain from everything that nullifies your fasting. Not only to abstain from food or drink. Prophet said, مَنْ لَمْ يَدَعْ قَوْلَ الزُّورِ وَالْعَمَلَ بِهِ فَلَيْسَ لِلَّهِ حَاجَةٌ مِنْ أَنْ يَدَعَ طَعَامًا وَشَرَابًا. Whoever does not abstain from saying bad things, backbiting, lying, slandering, talking about people during Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not need him to be hungry. Allah does not need your empty stomach. And know the reason of Ramadan is not just food or drink. Allah says in this, the ayah that the Psalm makes obligatory. Allah says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُم. Allah says, Siyam was made obligatory on you the way Allah had made obligation on people before you. Adam alayhi salam was the first one who started fasting Ramadan. So it was a special thing that Ramadan is. But why? Allah says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So that you can have taqwa, you can have God-fearing. If your Ramadan did not increase you God-fearing, know that your Ramadan was not good or almost was not accepted. If you did not change after Ramadan to better person, truthful person, treating others better, praying better and more than before, then know that your Ramadan did not benefit you. Your Ramadan is supposed to give you taqwa. Allah says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So you can have taqwa. So if you don't have taqwa after Ramadan, know that your Ramadan was not enough good. You did not good in Ramadan. Inshallah, I will stop here talking about the advantage of Ramadan because too much in it, and I also made some lessons and khutbahs on it, only about the blessings of Ramadan. We need to take it. But Ramadan, there is one special ibadah that we need to focus on, which is the ibadah of Qira'at al-Quran, reciting the Quran. And me in my masjid, we have two imams there. I give lectures normally before the Ramadan. I stop. For example, I have Fiqh class, sisters class, all the classes I stop. Because month of Ramadan is month of Quran. Allah says, شهر رمضان ماذا أنزل فيه القرآن. The month of Ramadan is the month that Quran was revealed. So we need to focus on that point. Prophet ﷺ, him and Jibreel, they used to make mudarasa, they used to study together during the Ramadan Quran. Imam al-Shafi'i and Imam Malik rahmatullah alayhi, he used to stop hadith, he's muhaddith, he used to give hadith, and he's muhaddith, big muhaddith. When it comes to Ramadan, no hadith. All his halaqat, his lectures, he used to stop it. And he used to focus on qira'at al-Quran, reciting the Quran. Imam al-Shafi'i, he used to have every day two khatma, 2 times. He used to finish 2 times the Quran. It's kind of hard. I tried, so one of the Ramadan that I was not working that much, I used to finish every 3 days. Every 3 days, 1 khatma. But more than that, I couldn't do it. But Imam Shafi'i, a day 1 time, and night 1 time. That means he not expecting myself to do that, especially now I'm more busy, I'm working in a busy masjid. Every minute someone comes in and out, I need to talk to him, and someone has a question. So I don't get all times. But I'm trying at least one or two. One. At least if I don't do anything, I have to finish one. So you make yourself a schedule and finish one time at least the Quran. Just read one juz every night of Ramadan, and that you will be blessed. And also it's good to read the Quran during Ramadan, during the nights of Ramadan. I don't know, you guys complete the Quran here? So you don't have to, but the important thing is to read by yourself, complete the Quran by yourself, and read it. That's more pleasing than any other thing, inshallah. So that's the 50th of Ramadan, and that's why month of Ramadan is special month. So inshallah, now we saw the ahkam, rulings and regulations of Siyam. What about that? That question I get a lot in the class, in myself. And Ramadan, everyone comes, will that nullify your fasting? Will that not? That's too many questions. But before Ramadan, I give classes, but people normally they too lazy, they too busy to come. But when it comes to questions, they jump on you and ask you the questions. So we need to come the rules to show clarification, to make ta'bir of the masjid, mashallah, a beautiful masjid, beautiful imam. You need to come together. Even if you're not coming for halaqah, just coming to the masjid is something special. You are in a special place where your heart will be attached to Allah. Allah says, إِنَّمَا يَعْمُرُ مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ مَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ. The masajid of Allah, the one who comes, they have iman. Prophet he said, I testify for him an iman. Iman is something in the heart, nobody can know it. I testify for him an iman, whoever attends the masjid most often. Allah says in the Quran, رِجَالٌ لَا تُلْهِهِمْ تِجَارَةٌ وَلَا بَيْعٌ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَإِقَامِ الصَّلَاةِ وَإِيتَاءِ الزَّكَاةِ. Rijal, men. There's a lot of males. If you are a male, does not mean you are a man. I'm not saying it in the wrong way, by the way, don't twist it. So Rijal means, Rajul means man. The man is different than male. So the man is the one who knows Allah and gives Allah his right. Then you are a man. Otherwise, if you're not doing that, then know that you're a man. So Rijal, لا تلهيهم تجارة ولا بيع. Tijara, business and transaction and work will not make him busy remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't build, this is what I say, don't build yourself around the salah, but build your life around the salah. For example, don't work and whenever they give you pray. No. When I'm about to go work, see, is it time? Is it time for Allah? No, is it time? Is it conflict? At least Jum'ah. This hadith says that if you miss 3 Jum'ah, then your imam will be out of your heart. Some people they say you'll be munafiq, they say you'll be a Muslim. By the way, there is debate on that, it's not going to benefit you. So try your best. Build your life around your salah. Don't build your salah around it. Don't whenever I get a job, whenever I get a time, I pray whenever. No. First see what time is it. When it comes to your Jum'ah, make sure that you're at the masjid. Tell your boss that when it comes to my Jum'ah, it's Allah's day. If you want me to work overtime, second shift, third shift, I work. But if it comes to Jum'ah evening, I'm going to take off. Because this is Allah's day. And tell him I'm honest, I'm Muslim, Muslims generally are honest, basically. I don't cheat, I don't lie, you can trust me on everything, but when it comes on my Jum'ah, have a nice day. Evening Jum'ah, I'm not going to be here. But if you want me to work other than that, I'm going to work. They will respect you, especially the American people generally. They are respectful people and understanding people. They are not rude people. That we have to say it clear. We don't have to, kafir, we cannot say they're kafir and all that and say bad thing about them. No. They're kafir, they're not believing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But as human beings, they're nice people, generally. If we compare to people in back home. Especially, to be honest, people back home, they don't know police, they don't respect you, the police, especially legal police, when you see police, you feel safe. There, first thing he slaps you, then he tries to take the money from your pocket. So we have to testify that we are really thankful to what Allah has given us here. Now from the ahkam of siyam, until what time we have, Sheikh?
9:36 is it? 38. 38.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to try to make it.
Yeah.
When it comes to ahkam of siyam, the ruling of and regulations of siyam, I want to make 2 points clear. First, I cannot cover all of it, because it's going to be impossible almost. But I will say the important things, inshallah. That's number 1. Number 2 is there is different madahib. There's different madahib when it comes to fiqh. Ulama have different opinion on the masail of fiqh. So all the masail of fiqh I did not take from one special madhab. I did not take from Madhab Hanafi, Madhab Hanbali, Madhab Shafi'i will not take from it. Although I study the most Shafi'i ones. So, but I'm not taking from any madhab, and I will try to give you what I think it was the strongest point. I will see the madhab, I will see the dalil, what proof they have. I don't follow blindly to one madhab. I don't just go this madhab, whatever you think I go with it. Although ulama some they say, by the way, we need to respect, we have to agree to disagree. We have to agree to disagree. I may not agree with the shaykh or with someone else with some issues. I have to agree to disagree. Respect him. You don't agree with him, that's okay. You have your own point of view, that's okay. But you have to respect it. Does not mean if I don't agree with you, I fight you, I go against you, and I start my own thing. That's not the way. We agree to disagree. That's the rule number one. You have to agree. So I'm gonna choose what I thought was strong, and with the ulama that I think they were good. I may give some points different than the imam. So this does not mean imam is wrong or I'm wrong. Both of them, if there is the base on a mas'ala, and if the imam can prove you his points and give you what dalil he has, and that's what when we say four madahib does not mean they don't have dalil. They don't understand in a different way. I'm going to give you examples. For example, in Bani Qurayza, the Ghazwat Bani Qurayza, when they go into that battle, he said, لا يصلين أحدكم العصر إلا في بني قريظة. He said, none of you should pray Asr except in Bani Qurayza. So the Sahaba, they were walking to there, it was a little bit far distance. So some of them, Asr was in there, they said, we're going to pray here before we reach there. So some Sahaba, they said, no, Allah said it's clear, don't pray Asr in there. Don't Asr except in there. So some they prayed in where they were, then they completed walking. Then the other people, they just reached there and prayed. Then they told the Prophet ﷺ, he did not say anything, he just approved both of the things. That means some dalil, some hadith, scholars, not me and you, by the way. It's not the way you understand the hadith. It's not, because we don't have enough knowledge of Islam. But it's about what scholars understand. If the scholars have a valid point and valid understanding, we need to respect their opinions. And even if you say, I don't think this, I don't go with this, because I think this is stronger, but still you have to respect the other opinion and you don't have to fight with anyone. So if my things goes to disagree with what you heard before or what you're going to hear, don't think that it was wrong or not. So let's start with Siyam. What's Siyam linguistically? Linguistically, Siyam, Sawm is an imsak, to abstain. When you abstain from anything, that's called Sawm. If you abstain linguistically, I'm talking about language. Linguistically, if you abstain from anything, it's called Sawm. Allah says in the Quran, especially the qissa, the story of Mary and the mother of Jesus, when Jesus spoke to her when he was a baby, he said, فَقُولِي إِنِّي نَذَرْتُ لِلرَّحْمَنِ صَوْمًا فَلَنْ نُكَلِّمَ الْيَوْمَ إِنْسِيًّا. He said, say, I have intended, I have made promise, blade to Allah, that I will be fasting and I will not speaking to anyone today. So that fasting, she did not mean I'm not going to eat. She meant what? I'm not going to speak. She meant I'm not going to speak. So that was fasting. But اصطلاحا what the ulama say what is Sawm is التعبد إلى الله تعالى بالإمساك عن المفطرات من طلوع الفجر إلى غروب الشمس. Is worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by abstaining from everything that nullifies your fasting from Fajr until the sun sets. That's called Sawm. So you don't, and again you say, I said, from everything nullifies your fasting. So it doesn't mean food or drink only. Anything, I'm going to mention a lot inshallah. So what is the ruling of Ramadan? It's wajib. The ayah says, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ. Siyam was made obligatory on you. So you have to fast and it's a wajib. If you leave the fasting now, so it's going to be two categories. Some people, they don't fast. So what's their ruling? What we consider them? If they leave Siyam, okay? If they leave Siyam, and they know Siyam is wajib on them. Siyam is obligatory on them. But they are too lazy. I'm going to fast inshallah. Imam when he tells them, hey, why don't fast? He says, Imam, make dua for me. He's still lazy. So that person, we're not going to take him out of Islam. He's a Muslim, but fasik, disobedient Muslim. Still is a title Muslim. You cannot call kafir no one unless with a proof. And they stay away from making the people kufr and labeling them that they are out of Islam. It's not true. Because when you call someone kafir, means disbeliever, if that, either you going to be kafir or he's going to be kafir. There's no other way. So if he is not Catholic, he's going to come back to you and you're going to be out of Islam. You know what happens when you become a Catholic? فَقَدْ حَبِطَ عَمَلُهُ وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. Your deeds will be destroyed and you're not going to have any good deed, and after you will be among the losers. All the deeds that you have done before, for example, 40 years, all the salah, nothing, zero, that you've made a kufr. So stay away from calling the people Catholic, that person Catholic. That's not your job. So some ulama, big ulama has to make ruling on someone. They look into what he has done. If he said something bad about Islam, curse it. For example, you see someone say like something weird about the Prophet. You cannot straight tell him that you're a kafir because he may did as a kafir. Ma'dur is ignorance. He doesn't know. Maybe that's all what he knows. You can share the three of them. Imam, take yours. So when you make kufr, you make you out of Islam. So you're not going to be charged no one on it. So when the person who leaves fasting, laziness, he knows this is a wajib, then he's not kafir. But if the person leaves fasting, he's not a lazy, but he's saying fasting is not wajib. I don't have to fast. I don't have to fast. If he means I'm lazy, that's okay. But if he means I don't have to fast, and the Muslims don't fast, then he's kafir. That person, not talking about now, by the way, know that. I'm not making kufr on someone. I'm making kufr on an act. You can say, whoever does that thing is a kafir. But you cannot say, fulan kafir. You know what I mean? Unless it's declared, it's clear outside. It's in the sun, it says I'm kafir. I don't care. That you can say. So, but you say, if you do that act, you will be kafir. You will be means, doesn't mean you, it means whoever does that. So you can see two different issues in effect. So, if he leaves Islam, if he leaves the song, he knows he denies by denial. So it's not like he's not going to pray that he's a kafir, he left Islam by that action. And again, we have to know what makes him take that position. He may be ignorant, maybe he doesn't know, then you cannot just label him as a kafir. Okay, now song, you have to have intention before you start your song. The ulama have two different opinions. And the manahib have different opinion whether you say it loudly, you say مثلا نويت صوم غد عن أداء فرض رمضان, or you just have intention on it. They have different opinions. Madhab Shafi'i مثلا says you have to say it out loud. It's sunnah, it's Madhab Shafi'i, but I don't go with it. It's just intention is becoming halaqan. It's from your heart. If you know you're fasting tomorrow, you don't have to say it in your tongue. That's what I go with it. So you have to make intention is wajib. So ulama has now two different opinions. Whether you should have intention every day or you can make one intention for all Ramadan. The one I go with it, both are valid. Whenever I mention two opinions, know that both are valid. I don't mean one's wrong, one's right. Okay? So when it comes to you have to have from the beginning, I think that is the strongest one. The first night of Ramadan, if you know that there will be 30 days coming and you're going to be fasting these 30 days, that should be suffice and okay for you. About the fasting, the sunnah one, you don't have to make intention every day. What is the proof for that? He came to Aisha one day, his wife, his beloved one. He said, do you have the food? She said, no, I don't have food. And the Prophet said, I'm fasting. He started his fast from there. But if you want to have fast occasions, like you want to fast Thursdays, or مثلا يوم عاشوراء, the 10th of Muharram, that when you're going to get reward of the year before. You fast Yawm Arafah, the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, you're going to get the day that people are standing to Arafah, 2 years of forgiveness. The year before, the day after, those days you have to have intention in order to get full day reward. If you have half day reward, you get half day intention, you get the half day. So that's what it is. So how we saw Ramadan? Ramadan, we need to have someone has seen the moon. So we can start with one. When it comes to the starting of Ramadan, if one person testifies, so his imam is not everyone, by the way. One person who is just someone we know he comes to the masjid and imam can trust him. And by the way, it's not your judgment. And the community has stuck together and they have to stick with their ruling. For example, if he is the imam, he has mas'ala fiqhiyya, which his points is valid. We don't have to make khilaf and divide the community as long as it's a valid opinion. We have to follow him. Because it's going to come something wajib and something sunnah. Ta'at al-amir, the person who's in charge, to obey him in every halal way is a wajib. What is the proof for that? Allah says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ وَأُولُو الْأَمْرِ مِنكُمْ. You have to obey the people. Allah says first, obey Allah, these messengers and those who are in charge. We have a board, you have to listen. If they want to make a masjid that way and paint that way, you don't have to say, no, I'm disagreeing with you. As long as something they do in the back, you have to obey them. Something in the back, you have to obey them because they're going against them, you're going against Allah. Because Allah and His Messenger do good job. But if He commands you something haram, you tell him, I'm not going to do it, have a good one. Just leave him alone. But if He's commanding something wrong, something okay, disobey Him. So to solve the month of Ramadan, you need to have someone to see it. The Prophet ﷺ, one person to see it. The Prophet ﷺ, in A'lahi Ibn Umar came to the Prophet ﷺ and he told him that he has seen the moon of Ramadan. He commanded the Sahaba, everyone started fasting. If someone just sees the moon, we start with the moon of Ramadan. We're going to go into the discussions about calculations and all that, inshallah. So, but at the end of Ramadan, to close our fasting, we need two people. We're not going to take one person's opinion. So I do it. We need two persons to see, just a person. Who knows why? Other than Imam. Who knows why we need one testimony to start the Ramadan and why we need two to end Ramadan? No? Imam. You got this. Anyone else? Just try it. What do you think? What do you think about it? Anyone try it?
Perhaps.
Maybe you heard from him, man.
Yeah, I
He
think
came with me.
Yeah, perhaps one person wants to end it faster than the other one.
You are close, but you can do it. Okay. It's because it's that to start Ramadan is hard. Most people don't want to start Ramadan. They don't want to start Ramadan because they have to stay all day not eating. People don't like that. But when it comes to the end of Ramadan, one person can fail. One person can get tired of this fasting. They decide to come into that in the moon. We can end it, right? We can do it. We can do it. So we don't take one person because we need two people to say it. And the person has to make sure when you break your fast, we make adhan and fajr the first adhan. You have to make sure that the sun sets and you have to make fajr started. So since you don't have to follow the adhan or something like that, if you see outside the sun sets, you cannot go ahead. So, for example, if you see the muaddin here coming in to make adhan, don't tell me what to say. Muaddin, come on, it's the sunset. Go ahead and make adhan. If you're sure it's sunset, just go ahead and eat. You don't have to follow that muaddin. Just to say the safe side, but you can follow that muaddin. The sunset to fajr, you have to keep it. Fajr is the second adhan. The second adhan till the end, maghrib adhan. Okay. Now we said, Allah says, وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَكُمُ الْخَيْطُ الْأَبْيَضُ مِنَ الْخَيْطِ الْأَسْوَدِ. Allah says, eat and drink until Fajr comes. ثُمَّ أَتِمُّ الصِّيَامَ إِلَى اللَّيْلِ, and continue fasting till night. So what about the people who live in some countries where the nights are maybe they have day of 20 hours? What's the longest hour we have day here? 14 maybe? 16? Yeah. Some people they have 20. Some people they have only one hour of the day. What they gonna do? Ulama has different opinion, but the ayah clearly says from the sunset to sunrise. The ayah does not say follow an hour to 12 hours. Clearly says يتبين لكم الخيط الأبيض من الخيط الأسود من الفجر ثم أتموا الصيام إلى الليل. Some fuqaha said, like Scandinavian, Norway, those countries, sometimes they have 20 something day, 20 something hours one day. So some they said, now we just go with the Mecca. I don't think that's correct because I clearly said that. So what they have to do, the correct that I think is that they have to fast all day. If they cannot do it because it's so risky for their life, then what they can do is break their fast and eat or drink a little bit and continue after the sunset. And when the day becomes short, when he breaks his fast, he is considered marid. He's sick because he can't do it. But when the day comes short, he has to make it up. He has to fast again. Other than that, he has to fast because ayah clearly says, وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَكُمُ الْخَيْطُ الْأَبْيَضُ مِنَ الْخَيْطِ الْأسْوَدِ مِنَ الْفَجْرِ ثُمَّ أَتِمُّوا الصِّيَامَ إِلَى اللَّيْلِ. Now, come to starting of Ramadan. How do we start Ramadan? Every masjid has its own rulings. Some masajid they follow calculation. start Ramadan, Google use that too. Check Google, you ask him when Ramadan starts, it's going to give you, it's going to tell you now it's going to start June, July or June? June 28th. It's going to start June 28th, it's going to tell you it's going to end July 28th. That's your Google, because you follow Sheikh Google, you follow the calculations, because they can tell you 10 or 50 Ramadan from now. Guys, when some ulama, they go with it. Some they go with it. The other way is global Muslim. If any Muslim country sees it, okay? If any Muslim country sees it, we will start with it. So if they see from Saudi, we'll start with it. That's another way. But some they play some little bit in fact, they only follow when Saudi says to start. That's not fair. That's not fair. If you want to follow global Muslim, if Morocco sees, just follow it. Follow it. Don't follow one country, because Muslim is Muslim, and witness is a witness. If one witness from Morocco just says follow it. If you are following that opinion, don't play twice. They say I follow global Muslim, and if you get four of the countries of Muslim fasting today, you say no, still no, because you are waiting for Saudi. No, no, I don't think it's not valid point, because either you have to follow global Muslim, where all the countries sees it, any country sees it, Egypt, whatever, and you follow it. And by the way, do you know the country that looks for the moon the most? Every month they look from the beginning to the end. That's Morocco. Morocco, they have even the Jaysh. But they are not from Morocco, and I never studied there, and I never been there. But to be honestly, they search for the moon every month, and at the end, even the what they call the Jaysh, the army, participate that. When it's about, they all go out, all the army. There's thousands of the army go out, looks for the moon. So they are the most accurate Muslim country. Saudi they do, but mostly they focus on especially the job of the month of Hajj and the month of Siyam. So these are three opinions. I don't know what opinion you share. Which one you guys go with it? Muslim?
No, calculation.
Calculations. So you guys starting with June 28th. So that's a point of opinion. That here is where me and Imam are going to be different. We agree, we disagree, to disagree. So I don't think that is going to be a valid opinion. But since he said, and it's a mas'ala and valid point, you guys have to follow it, because he's your Imam. And it's valid, and the ulama, fuqaha, those who know more than me have that position. I don't claim I know anything. So comparing to those who have, they are more knowledgeable than me. Some of them they have their PhDs, but I don't go with it. I don't think it's strong. Why? I'm going to give you why I don't think it's strong. You both want to change their minds up to them. The reason. Okay, the reason is that, number one, the hadith says that, by the first definition of hilal means halla yahullu hilal. Halla means came out. In Arabic means halla. Halla alayna Muhammad means Muhammad came out for us. Muhammad just came out. So came out means the moon came out. Linguistically, that's what it means. And the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, لا تصوموا حتى تروا الهلال. And by the way, this hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. It's top authentic. There's no doubt on it. Maybe some people will give a different tafsir on the hadith, yes. But the hadith authenticity, no different opinion on it. Prophet said, لا تصوموا حتى تروا الهلال. Until you see. What you see with your eyes. Okay? Until you see with your eyes. And do not break your fast until you see the moon. Allah said, فَإِنْ غُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ. He gave an option if in case it was covered from you. Okay? But if the calculation, there will be no covering from you. Even if there's the clouds in it, they don't care. They go above the clouds and they find out when it's Ramadan. So the hadith says, فَإِنْ غُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ فَكْمَلُوا شَعْبَانَ 30 يوما. If it was not clear that way for you, then complete your fasting. Complete your fasting. Then what this means that Tarawih shows that the seed that I said is that to see it, and we need to see it. Someone has to see it. If it's not possible to see it, Allah did not give us an option of calculations. He gave us just complete Sha'ban that day. Just make Sha'ban 30 days. That's that's what I go with it. So the two things is global Muslim and local Muslim. We're studying, by the way, now. And the university can follow any opinion they think. And there's a lot of Masanis in America follows calculations, Islam follows calculations. So I'm not deeming anyone, but according to my understanding, I think that's not strong because it goes literally against the hadith. Hadith says, Tarawu, until you see. If you don't see it, then you should But most of the time, they come together. Most of the times, the calculations come, but sometimes calculation that moon signing comes through together, but sometimes they don't. So global moon signing and local moon signing. I think the strongest one is local moon signing because of the people have different timing. We cannot say we follow globally. Why? Because we don't follow them in Salah. So do we pray when they pray Fajr? No, we don't follow them. We don't follow them in their timing of prayer, so we don't have to follow them in the timing of fasting. That's the opinion that I do with it. So if any Muslim country doubts, we say that's their way because we don't have to pray at the same time. If we don't pray at the same time, Islam is secondary comparing to prayer. Prayer is the primary thing in Islam. So if you don't follow them in prayer, we don't have to follow them in fasting. That's what I think. So what is the strongest one is local moon sighting. So locally we have, as America, we have to look for the month of Ramadan and to search it. If we find we saw it, no, we won't start it. No, we don't sign. And by the way, the global moon signing, the one we say any Muslim country says, then that's also strong. Why? Because the hadith says, لا تصوموا حتى تروا until you see. You, what means? You Muslims, right? So some ulama they say you until you see Muslim. It doesn't mean you Americans, you doesn't mean that's what the hadith says. So any Muslim country. Now it's not al-fiqhiyya. I'm taking you here and here. So if, until you see, so if any Muslim country sees, we follow. That's a valid opinion, I think. So if some people try to follow the second one, which is global Muslim, still they are okay because it's not al-fiqhiyya. The one I think is probably the local one. Why? The reason I think is that because the people have different times of prayers and they need to have different prayers times of fast. Also, one time when the Sahaba Mas'ud, I think, I'm not sure, a man came from Dimashq and he came to him and he told him, he asked Mas'ud, when did you start your fasting? He said that we started that day. Mas'ud said, no, we started the other day, different days than they started. And Ibn Mas'ud, he's a companion of the Prophet ﷺ, he's knowledgeable. He did not tell you're right or wrong, or we are right. He tells that everybody has his own mafada, his own timings. So people can have two different times. But in a local community, people should not be different. In a local, they should not be bound in this one day. And what we do in Tennessee, we have a majma', the imams meet. We have another majma', but special we meet before fast, before the night before fast. We discuss. Believe me, we have different imams. Everyone has his own opinion, but we discuss, and we vote, and we go with one. Even the one who has my opinion, if the other people votes more than my opinion, we will go all Tennessee, even including myself. Although I think is not strong, still I go with them. Still I go with them and I fast with them. So to keep the unity, because unity is valuable. Muslim to be one. المؤمن للمؤمن كالبنيان يشد بعضه بعضا مثل المؤمنين في توادهم وتراحمهم وتعاطفهم كمثل الجسد الواحد. The way Muslims love one another, take care of one another, like one single body. If one part sick, they will get sick. Now this time Iraq having problems. Now their problem turned into sect fight where Sunni, Shia. We need to feel all that. He said, من لم يهتم بأمر المسلمين فليس منهم. Whoever does not care or does not follow the Muslims, what happens to the Muslims is not among of us. So you need to, at least when you can do dua, but follow up what's happening whenever they are having painful, passing through, pausing, sometimes they have drought, and sometimes they have problems. Make dua for them, the least we can tell them. But you don't say, I don't care, man, I don't listen to you, to the news, that's not my problem. That's not, goes against the hadith. You have to care for your Muslim believers. So that is the way it starts Ramadan. So these are the three ways to start Ramadan. But the best way is to keep the masajid united, meet with the imams, and you guys decide. I don't know, all they go with the same calculation?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's good then, it's unity. So it's good to meet and to keep the Muslims united, in at least in your areas. Now we're going to talk about muftarat. What nullifies your fasting? The first and foremost, the famous one is to abstain from food and drink. So food and drink will nullify your fasting whenever you eat or drink. But it has to be amdan, intentionally. You have to eat. As long as you eat it intentionally, then you're not going to break your fast. Allah said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ تَجَاوَزَ عَنْ أُمَّتِي الْخَطَأَ وَالنِّسْيَانَ وَمَا اسْتُكْرِهُ عَلَيْهِ. Allah had forgave from my ummah al-khata, whatever they do by mistake, وَالنِّسْيَانَ, whatever they do by forgetfulness, So if someone wants to force you, you have an option to just pronounce it because Allah says, and if someone was forced, if it happened to Ammar bin Yasir in Mecca, they tortured him, and they told him, leave Islam and say good things about our idols. He said it and he came back to the Prophet. He said, and an ayah was revealed talking about that incident. It says, من كفر بالله من بعد إيمانه إلا من أكره. Whoever leaves Islam, except those who force, but his heart is accepting Islam, then he has no problem with him. So if you are forced, you know. So what I'm talking about in here is that if you forget, you are not being held as responsible. You're not being responsible. Number two, the second thing that nullifies whatever is the meaning of eat or drink. These are three parts. Number one, dropping your nose. Whenever you drop your nose, it goes straight to your stomach. So that will nullify your fasting. In the book of the Prophet he said, when he was talking about the wudu, how to make wudu, he said, وَبَالِغْ فِي الْإِسْتِنْشَاقِ إِلَّا أَن تَكُونَ صَائِمًا. He said, go too deep within the shower, meaning put it in your nose when you are making wudu, go it, and except when you are fasting. So that means if you make mubalagha and goes in intentionally, if you make wudu, you went up by accident, that's okay. But if you did it intentionally, that means it's going to go in. So when you pull your nose, something when your nose drops medicines, then that will go down into your stomach and will nullify your fasting. Another that whatever meaning of food and drink can come under is that like IV things, IVs, the one they put. You look like a nurse or doctor. The IV things, the food or drink in it. So that's what people can stay weeks without eating or drinking without IVs. Although it's not going to go straight to the stomach, it's going to go to the blood, but still nullifies your fasting because it's the meaning as a food or drink. Okay, it's going to nullify your fasting. And every shot that considered medically is considered as a food or drink, it has something beneficial for you, like as something like used as a food or drink that will nullify your fast. But other than that, shots will not nullify your fasting because that will not be considered as food or drink. The other things that will nullify your fast is like when you are being given like blood. Some people they have kidney problem, they have to clean their blood every time. Then that will nullify your fasting because the kidney things when you put something in the blood comes with food because all our foods at the end what's going to turn to? It's going to turn into food. Our food always going to turn into the blood. The rest is going to go out of our body by using the bathroom. So if your blood is changed, not saying if you don't eat blood, okay? If your blood is changed and you've been given a blood or being given a blood, it's like you've been given a food because that stands as the meaning of drinking or food. The other things that nullify your fasting is sexual intercourse. If you have a sexual intercourse with your wife, by the way, even if you have someone is worse than that, okay, someone else other than someone who's not halal to you, that's worse than that. I'm not talking about that. It's going to nullify your fasting, by the way, and it's going to be more sinful during Ramadan, listening like. But if you do with your wife sexual intercourse, that will nullify your fasting, and there would be an kafara, there will be punishment on you. I'm going to say what the punishment of doing that. The other things that nullifies your fasting is that releasing sperm. Releasing sperm. I'm trying to be the best modest I can be, inshallah, but sometimes I have to be clear. So releasing sperm. Sperm comes from you with a joyful, either by looking down. Oh yeah, now they watch some bad movies, porn movies. You watch porn movies until you release. That's gonna have your wudu and your fasting. Or you looked at the girl sexually. Yeah, sometimes like they look too much. Some people are faster than the others, so you look into someone passing there. Inshallah, inna Allah la yastahi min al-haqq. I'm saying haqq and you need to know it. I'm not saying for anything. But if someone passes, sister passes, you look her too into sexual and you release, that will nullify your fasting. So also using your hand, masturbation, okay? It's not, it's the kind of, it's going to nullify your wudu. Any way that comes, it's going to pass your wudu with the shower. But if you are sleeping ihtilam and you've seen the dream and that will not nullify your fasting. What's the proof for this? Well, Allah says, يَدَعُ شَهْوَتَهُ وَطَعَامُهُ مِنْ أَجْلِ. He leaves his shahwa, his own desire, and he's the food for me. So if you're not leaving the desires, the shahwa, the sexual thing, that will not make your fast good. Okay. The other thing that will nullify your fasting is throwing up intentionally. You make yourself throw up. You put your finger in your mouth, you throw it out. Intentionally, that will nullify your fasting. What's the proof for that? The Hadith of Prophet ﷺ said, "من زرعه القلب وهو صائم فليس عليه قضاء." Whoever throws up while he's fasting, there's no qada for him. He has not to make up. But if he does intentionally, the Prophet said, "ومن استطاع فليقض." Whoever makes himself throw up, then he has to make qada. He has to make up that day. He has to make up that day. The other thing that nullifies your qada is menstruation and postpartum. For the sisters. So if they have period, that will make their fasting. That will nullify their fasting. If they have a baby and the blood is coming out from them, that will nullify their fasting. They don't have to fast anymore. So if the period comes to the sister right before Maghrib, but still did not reach the Maghrib, right before Maghrib, then that day is not valid. You did not complete. You have to be completely tahir, pure, during that day. Or it comes like, it stopped your blood after Fajr 1 hour, for example. After Fajr 1 hour, your blood stopped. So you don't have to fast that day, because already past the time. So you have to have a complete day of tahara in order to be accepted your fasting. So these are the nullifiers your fasting. Some things that people consider as a fasting, which is not, some people. Hold on, or what? Maybe it's telling you the time. Okay. So something that will not nullify your fasting is that, مثلا, you donate blood. So you take out yourself from blood. It's not going to nullify your fasting. I use wudu always. I make mistake because I teach fiqh class and I speak about wudu and tahara a lot. So it's not going to, whenever you donate, you go to hospital, you donate blood, it's not going to nullify your fasting. Any other blood comes from you, for example, you got injured and blood came out from you, then that will not nullify your fasting. The same thing, you go to check up, they took some blood from you so that they can do your checkup, normal checkup, that will not nullify your wudu. Because, by the way, everything that you say it nullifies your wudu, you have to have proof for that. If there is no proof, it's not going to nullify your wudu. Everything generally is halal. To wear suit, dress like the way you want is halal. Because there is nothing says that you have to wear soap. Nothing says like that. So everything is halal unless you can prove otherwise. Okay, if somebody tells you that's haram, you tell him prove. What's your proof for that? If he doesn't have it, the adat, if he doesn't have a proof for it, it's okay, it's halal. So these things is halal because there's no proof for it. So when you go in your checkup, it's going to receive good. Nose bleeding, for example, you have a nose bleeding, that will not nullify your fasting. Okay? Istihada, the blood that continues after the period. Sisters, those who know, if their blood continues after the period, that's called istihada. That will not nullify their fasting. They have to fast that day. What they need to do for every prayer, they wash themselves and pray. Even the blood continues, they close the place with always, and now we have always. You use them, inshallah. Okay. The other thing that will not nullify is hijama. Hijama is cupping. What is sucking the blood from yourself. They do it. It's a sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So ulama has different opinion whether cupping is nullified. Everyone knows cupping, right? Cupping is when you go in your bath and you put a cup and sucks your blood and they cut it, they take that blood out. That's the sunnah to do it. So that will not nullify your fasting. So ulama have different opinion. By the way, this hadith clearly says, is in Bukhari and Muslim. Okay, you have to have the deep knowledge, by the way, when you say things. Okay, in Bukhari and Muslim says that after al-hajim wal-mahjum. Prophet said, whoever makes hijama, and the person who makes hijama for him nullifies his fasting. That's clearly said. And there's another hadith shows that in Bukhari and Muslim says that Prophet made hijama while he was fasting. Both are authentic and goes against one another. One says whoever makes fasting whoever makes hijama while he's fasting nullifies his fasting. Other one shows that Prophet did make it. So what is this goes against it? So if two proofs go one another, we look into the history. Before we say which one is rajih, we look into the history. We say which one was the latest. The we will take the latest one, and the first one will be mansukh, will be right. There will be one rule in certain time that was going to remove it. So for hijama, Prophet he made a mamnu' because one time Ja'far made hijama and he became weak, and then Prophet said no hijama while you're fasting. He was fasting and he became weak, said no hijama. No hijama, then the people stopped making hijama. But at the end of his life, he made it permissible when the wahi came and told him that it's permissible. So the Prophet he made to make hijama, and the Sahaba actually, they used to do hijama while they are fasting. So that shows that the first hadith, which was no hijama, no cupping, was mansukh, it was wiped by the new rule, says that you can make hijama while fasting. So these are what's not going to be nullify your fasting. I'm going to mention some new stuff that the ulama, and there was no proof for it, especially on medical things, because the time of Prophet there was no all this technology, all this stuff, there was not. So there's majma' called Majma' al-Fiqh al-Islami, the International Islamic Fiqh Council. Base they have in Mecca now, but that who came together all fuqaha, all the scholars from different countries. From every Muslim they have representative. They come and they discuss some issues. So these things that I'm going to mention, they consider that will not nullify your fasting. Number one, eye drop. When you have an eye drop, that will not nullify your fasting because that's not considered as a food or drink. The ear drop, that will not consider your nullify the fasting. And like ear cleaner. There's some liquid they put it to clean your ears, will not nullify you because it's not going to go to your stomach and will not consider as a nullifier. Okay. And مثلا
will not modify the eye drops and the teeth.
Will not nullify your fasting. And by the way, you may see a different opinion, but this is madhab fiqhiyya. And this has been, all this I'm mentioning is all ijma'. One of the masadir al-sharia is first Quran, Sunnah. If you don't find it, then you go to qiyas, you see another mas'ala which is close to this mas'ala, you make a guess from the other mas'ala, if not ijma', what the ulama agreed on it. So this thing I'm mentioning was agreed by ulama from different countries who came together. So the Prophet said in the hadith also, لا تجمع أمتي وما عليه الصلاة والسلام لا تجمع أمتي على الضلالة. My ummah will not come and be agreeing on something wrong. So if the ulama agrees on it, you can take it. So, مثلا بخاخ الأنف, the nectar, the one they put, the liquid that they put to the nose to clean it when you close your nose, as long as you can avoid it going into your nose, to your stomach, then it's not going to be nullifying your fasting. The bills that they take, when you cut your tongue, they put it, you're not going to swallow it, but it's going to fix the place of cut, place of jaraha, that will not nullify your fast. But not the other bills. If you take a bill and drink it with the water, that won't nullify your fasting. But the bill that you don't swallow it, you put into your tongue or here and keep it there until you finish, that's not going to nullify your fasting. Okay. Everything that you put into your private parts. Okay. Like they call suppository. Suppository, right?
Suppository.
Yeah. That things will not nullify you. For example, sisters, whenever they have some infections, they've been given that will not nullify your fasting because not eating or drinking. Like a mouth cleaner. The mouth cleaner, the one you put into your mouth, you wash it and you make you good smell will not nullify your fasting. As long as you don't swallow. As long as you don't swallow, it's not going to nullify it. The scope, for example, you've been on an operation, they have to put something in your mouth to see what is in your stomach. That will not nullify your telescopes. The telescope that they put you on the computer to see what is your stomach, that will not nullify your fasting. Also, and everything that they check with you in, as long as it's not food or drink, will not nullify your fasting. Drilling your teeth, when they want to work on your teeth, will not nullify your fasting. Taking out some of the teeth, cleaning, making siwak with even the shana, it's not going to nullify your fasting. Although the hadith says clearly that Allah says Allah loves and the smell of the person who's fasting, لَخُلُوفُ فَمِّ الصَّائِمِ أَطْيَبُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ مِنْ رِيحِ الْمِسْكِ, that does not stop you from being clean and smelly. Okay, the smell that Allah loves, it doesn't mean literally the smell that you get. some samples from a liver, from any body of your blood or from your blood, that will not nullify your fasting. Giving some medicine into your dimag, your brain, it's not going to nullify. You have to inject some in your head, that will not nullify because that will not go to your stomach. That's not going to consider it as nullifiers. Why all this? What is the proof of all this? I'm saying because there is no proof saying this will nullify your wudu. The person who says your fasting, the person who says this nullifies your fasting has to have proof, not you. If you say this does not nullify your fasting, you don't have to have proof. But the person who says that will nullify your fasting has to have proof. I hope I'm making sense. Okay, now come to the points to Masail al-Qadha. Those who have to make it up. Those who have to make it up. Number one, the menstruations and the haida and the blood moon, those who has to make up their fasting at the end when they finish their Ramadan. For example, some sisters, they have a period during the fasting, so they have to wait those days, they don't fast. At the end of Ramadan, they have to make it up. And they have to make it up before the other Ramadan comes. So if other Ramadan comes while they did not make the Qadha, then they are sinful and they have to make kaffara plus qadha. And qadha means to make it out, plus they will feed one poor person every day. So they have two punishments. Qadha plus kaffara. Qadha means to make it up that day, kaffara means to feed one poor people. So every single day they fast and they have to feed that person. The second thing is musafir, the person who's traveling. He can break up his fast if he decides to do so. So even if his safar, what is safar? Some ulama, they give distance. They say that distance, I don't think that should be a case, and that's not strong. I think that whatever you call travel, whatever custom calls travel, that's musafir, So I don't know, when you guys go to Nashville, you guys say I'm traveling, or do you say when you go to Nashville I'm traveling, then you can break for your fast. Custom law, but if it's not done, that will not, you cannot break your fast for it. So Musafir, he has an option whether to continue his fasting or not. So if he has mashaqqa, if it's going to be harmful for him to fast, then it's better for him to break his fast. If it's not harmful for him to fast, it's better for him to take advantage of Ramadan and fast in Ramadan, because Ramadan is a special month. It's a special month of Ramadan. The other thing is whoever breaks his fast without any excuse. Some ulama, they say whoever breaks his fast intentionally as not to make it up. But that's not a strong opinion. What's the proof for this? Because Allah said the person who makes himself throw up, let him make up that day. So if that shows that he did it intentionally, then for them command him to fast again. So the person who did not fast and during a day of Ramadan, he has to make it up. Even if you don't make 3 constant sana, you do not fast 3 years, you do not fast in your life. You have to make it up. You have to die trying it. So you have a lot of years where you do not fast, try it. And Allah will take it from you and will take you from the rest. But if Allah sees you're not trying, then you are in trouble. Okay. The other thing that will not, that you have to make it for it, is the person who made sexual intercourse. Yes, you slept with your mouth with your wife intentionally during the Ramadan, you have to make it up. That's not only. There's a punishment for that person. First, he makes up that day. Number 2, he has to make it for raqaba. He has to free a slave. Now, there's no slave to be freed. He's going to go to the second category. Whoever cannot, فَمَنْ يَمْلِكِ فَصِيَامُ شَهْرَيْنِ مُتَتَابِعَيْنِ. He has to fast 2 continuous months, 60 days. He has to fast 60 days. Punishment of the day that you did not fast in Ramadan, you slept with your wife during that day. You make up that day, and then you make iqra. If not, you fast 60 days. So you fast, for example, let us say you fast 60 days, and see you fast 55 days. You fast 55 days and you break it up. Now you have to start new. You have to do 2 continuous months. If you cannot do it, what you're going to do, then you feed 60 poor people. 60 poor people, you do it. Ask Allah to forgive you. If you can't do all this, you cannot free a slave. There's no slave. You cannot fast. You're too old. You're weak. You can't do it. Okay. or you cannot feed, you're poor. Then what you do, then you can't do anything. Because the Prophet there was a man came to the Prophet and he said, Halakta, oh Allah, I destroyed, oh Prophet Allah, I destroyed myself. The Prophet said, what did you do? He said, I slept with my wife. The Prophet said, go and free a slave. The man said, I don't have anything, I don't have something to free a slave. Then the Prophet he said, then fast 2 months. The Prophet he said, the guy said, I can't fast for Messenger of Allah. I cannot. The Prophet he said, go feed the 60 people. The man said, no, I can't, oh Messenger of Allah, I'm poor. Then the Prophet waited until some Sadaqa came to the Prophet and he gave to the man. He said, go donate this to the poor people. Then the man said, there is no single person who is poorer than me in Medina. The Prophet said, just go take it and donate to your family. So if you can't, no, like the Allah. Okay, now we come to the مسألة عن العاجز عن الصيام. المسألة عن the person who cannot fast. Either it's going to be mu'aqqad or daim. Some people they cannot fast because they are sick at the time of fasting. Then all what you do is break up that fasting. Break up that fasting. The person who their ajz is daim, they are too old, they cannot fast. They're too old and the doctor, trustworthy doctor told them that if you fast, you're going to harm your health. If he tells you you don't have to fast. Then what you do instead, you feed miskin. Instead you feed the poor people. You can feed one time, or you can send the money to back home to be fed by 30 miskin, that needs to suffice for you. That's called ajz mu'aqqad. Also, for example, you have a sugar. You have to take insulin every single time. So then your ajz, the doctor tells you if you don't take this insulin daily, every 3 hours, that will harm your health. Then you don't harm your health. You just stop fasting, and instead you do it what you can. Now it comes to the matter of pregnant women. Okay, you are pregnant or you are breastfeeding. You are pregnant.
The insulin injection is break the fasting?
Yeah, because that includes some, they say, they say, it includes, and by the way, this goes back to the medical people. You ask them what it contains, that insulin, and if that insulin contains some beneficial for the food, other than the shop, for example, when you go to the shop, the school shop, those things that's not food or drink. For if it feeds you, if the insulin feeds your body, then it's gonna nullify your fasting. I don't know anything about insulin, so we need to ask the people who knows that.
I think the man knows that insulin is not feeder. It is not feed. Is it?
It replaces your insulin. Your body naturally produces insulin. If it can do it, then you replace it with the insulin of the animals or the prosthetic.
Okay.
It's just replacement for you.
Against the sugar. Is it feed?
Okay. I thought it was feed, I'm not sure. But we're gonna go to the medical.
It's gonna break your sugar up. Like your
there is a peanut scar that doesn't break.
Okay.
Yeah, you can use it in Ramadan. Yeah, it's allowed.
So this is general rule. General rule is that if this thing gives you feed in your body, it feeds your body, then it's going to be breaking fast. If it doesn't feed, it's not going to make you more strong, then it's not going to break your fast.
Actually, it's helping break the energy, break the sugar down.
Okay.
Because sugar is circulating.
So it's going to make them not feed, that will make them down. Okay, then it shouldn't. That's the strongest thing. Now, the pregnant woman and the breastfeeding woman, they don't have to fast. So this is the rule. And they only make qada. There is one opinion. One opinion says, if a woman pregnant, and because there is another huge creation in her stomach, needs to be fed in some things in her stomach, then she doesn't have to fast. Or she is breastfeeding, there is a baby, and if she's not eating or drinking, she cannot breastfeed. Then she is allowed to break her fast, and she will make up that day. So some ulama they say, a breastfeeding woman or the pregnant cares for her baby, not for herself. Okay? Cares for her baby, not for herself. Then she makes up that day, plus she makes fidya. She feeds one poor person. Why? Because when you care for yourself, you are sick. If you care for your life, then you will be considered sick. You only make it up. But if you're doing for someone other than you, then you have to pay fidya for it. That's one opinion. The other opinion says that no matter what reason you break your fast, if you are breastfeeding or if you are pregnant, then you just pick it up. So this was the value. If you want to be on the safe side, Once you break your fast, just feed one person. If you want, not go with other opinion that things. Now comes
And after Ramadan, if she breastfeeding for the children, after Ramadan she has to fast or has to pay?
After, if she is feeding in the entire year, she has excuse. Then she will fast for those days whenever she finishes feeding.
But the children child feeding is more than a year.
Yes.
So
if it takes that, we only make it up whenever she can, even after 1 year.
Or she can pay.
Last few years, she has to
After
pay.
After a year, she can pay.
Yeah, she can pay. She has to pay and fast. Not only fast, not only. The ajis, the one who only can pay is the person who is dying. His ajis is dying. You cannot do it forever.
Yeah, but he has excuse.
Yes.
For children, for his child.
Yeah. What I'm trying to get a bit more clear. I said that if the woman is pregnant and breastfeeding, she's pregnant or breastfeeding, she doesn't have to fast. But instead, she has to fast and give fidya. So if she don't have the time during the year, then what she needs to do is just pay fidya during the year and make it up whenever you can, and make it up again whenever. So she can't just do, she cannot just do fidya only. No, she has to make it up. The only person who can do just fidya is a person who cannot do it fast permanently. Like an old person, very old person, yes, because you can't do forever. For example, you have another problem, kidney problem, they change his blood every time, that's forever, until they give him new kidney. Then he has not to make it up. Other than that, whoever breaks his fast, he has to make it up whenever he can. The only one he is permissible, the only one who has the permission not to make it up forever, is the one who cannot do it forever. Okay. Whenever you have the ability, you do it, inshallah. This was the most important rulings on ruling and regulations in fast, inshallah. And it's too deep, and there is two different opinion on the masail, because there's no clear hadith or ayat talking about this. And ulama, they make their own jihad. You may see different opinions than what I said. So inshallah, and this is what I thought was strong, and when I looked